seams there. Alright, should I do that? Should I do that one? Should I do that thing? I don't know. That's a thing. That's a thing. That was a thing. No, it doesn't seem to be a big thing. Okay. So I'll just say something. Alright, that's fine. So hello everyone. Apologies for the weirdness there. Hey Gorilla Monsoon. So today we're doing something a little different. As opposed to making something new, we're going to be repairing something, which I think is also an important thing to do as well. Not just making new things, but also keeping things that exist up to date. A little while ago, and I actually haven't checked to see how long ago this was, I made a workspace laptop bag on stream. And so what this is basically it's a laptop bag. So it folds up like this. Got the Velcro there, a little floppy. It's got the your strap there. So this all together over the course of a couple of nights. The first time I'd ever made a bag, and since then I've gotten a chance to use it at a couple of conventions, sort of taken around and actually use it out in public, and also at home I've been laying it out and using it in real life as an actual workspace. So now it's had some actual use and it's gotten its real life beat upness, right? It's had some yeah. It's been through a few things, and it needs a little bit of TLC, some tender loving care, and that's what I'm about tonight. Is I'm going to look this over because I noticed in using it last weekend that there are a few things on there that need work. So the first thing I noticed was some of this thread is starting to come off. So I want to play around with that. Obviously, I'll need to trim that off and then fix some of these stitches, which are really tough, I think, in here because of just how things are. I think just sewing some of these things, the stitches just didn't really go very well. Hey, Russet, thank you very much. I also noticed this. So some of the stitching for my Velcro has come off a little bit, and I'm not sure. I'll have to look. It looks like I just didn't go all the way down with that stitching, so I want to fix that. Looking at the other bits, and look at the rest of this. Yeah, same thing here. I just didn't go all the way on those. This I went pretty much all the way, so that's good. So I can just hopefully just take. So this comes out a bit. So hopefully I can just take the sewing machine and do a few stitches in there to nail that down. I'd also like to fix, and this might just be a matter of hand stitching, these zippers. So you can see how, for example, these zippers are not really secured down in these spots. That just doesn't look very nice, right? So I kind of like to either sew those down completely or just do something there to kind of finish those off. Maybe just sew that down like that. Just have it, entirely sewed down. It would look kind of nice. Same thing down here. I've got just some of these little bits taken care of. Again, I don't know if I can fit this in my sewing machine. Now, I was using the big sewing machine before. And maybe with the new sewing machine, that'd be better. The other big thing that I've noticed, actually just now, is this. So you see how the strap is sewed down here on this end, but up here it's flipped up. So basically the stitching has fallen out, has been ripped out on this end. I need to re-stitch it. So, and the problem with that, I'm going to quit what I'm going to do here, I'll figure it out, is that this is very thick, and my little sewing machine probably cannot get through this. It's just, too small and low quality for that. So, not sure what I'm going to do. The other problem is with the strap is this that you can see here, this tear. So basically, this is a kind of a faux leather on top of, and sort of wrapped around this. In fact, it's literally on top of this white material there. So if I had originals of this, actually I do over there. So this is the basis for this strap. It's basically this faux leather on one side and this white backing on the other side, which makes it fairly thick and, you know, nice, but it's split here. And again, I do not know how to fix this. Obviously, I could kind of put this back in place and then stitch that, stitch that closed, but it's just going to tear some more. So I don't know how to fix that other than like maybe even duct tape, just taping that down. I got to think about that a little more. And what's happening a little bit over here as well, as you can see. Let me see what else. And also, yeah, see, it's happening here pretty badly. So I've got some issues here where just the stitching is pulling against that and pulling that down and pulling it out. So I do not know how to fix that either. Happening down here as well. I got to think about it. The reason it's happening is quite simply force. If I got all this stuff hanging off of this, it's just pulling and pulling and pulling. This is taking all the weight. Oops, sorry. Slight issue with the camera there. There we go. So this is taking all the weight, which means it's pulling on this thing here. So again, I could stitch it up, but we're still going to have the pressure there. Just going to keep on pulling bits of it out. So I don't know. Now this also teaches me that what I should have done here is secured this more fully. So this would have been better as a full loop. So instead of this here where you've got, just this attached on either side, bring it all the way in. Maybe not, you didn't have to attach all the way, but certainly more fabric, more of the loop on here would have cut this in. Yeah, it's not real leather. It is some faux leather that I got at the craft store, the fabric store. Don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's sort of a leatherish material. Close enough. So what to do? Well, first thing to do is to fix some of these little issues with the material. So I'm going to do a few things like cleaning up some of these threads. So I got a big long thread pulling off here. Let me grab some scissors, which fortunately are right here. And I'm just going to sort of look over here, look around here for any other, yeah. And some of this is just trim work that I should have done before. And I just didn't notice them before. So there's that. There's a bit of stuff there. Where else do we have some? Remember there was some here, yeah. Again, some of this is just stitches coming out. So that's a problem, but hopefully with some work here, I can resolve that. So this is, some of these stitches here. Yeah, these stitches are coming out. And I mean, there's not much point in my trying to do anything with these other than just killing them, as far as I can tell. I don't see how I would have any advantages of trying to sew these back in. I'm just gonna have to re-sew them. Just trim those off, and like I said, I will re-sew these edges. Some there as well. I mean, the disadvantage, according to my mom at least, with trimming these off, is that these are parts of knots, and so if there's stress on those, there's a chance it'll pull out, which is why we need to re-sew and be more careful with those things. So let me re-look at these. Certainly, I could tighten up this. Oh, and I was also having a problem where, so this is a huge problem here. So you can see how the zipper is not actually attached here at this edge. So it should be like this, right? Here's the zipper, holding that closed. This is the ideal for this pocket. But this is separated out so much that now there's a big old hole here. So even if this is zipped up, stuff can just fall right out that gap right there. So I've got to fix that. That is project number one, because that is functional, right? That I will lose, and I probably have lost one or two, bits of technology. Other little I probably had things fall out of here. So that's got to be fixed right now, which is very difficult because, as you can see, the zipper is right here. I can't really close it and do it, which is why I didn't finish it before. And I can't. How do I do that? I think I'm gonna have to hand stitch that. I don't see any other solution. Let me trim back some of that stuff. Okay. Yeah, I can't really. There is a YouTube video. If you look for workspace laptop bag, I think if you Google that, there's an Instructable out there which was the basis for this. It's not the same, but it was the basic idea behind this bag. And so I took that and then restructured it for what I was looking for, because I wanted a central area for the laptop, and I wanted a couple different things. So for example, this surface here, this area here, has a bit of chipboard inside it, so it's firm, right? It's actually, if I can see some of the chipboard there. So this section is specifically constructed so that it is a firm place you can put a mouse on here, or something else, firm, or like whatever you're working on, and it's not going to cut that off. So that's a something I've added in, and just the exact placement of the pockets and so forth, and just the design and the layout. So I did not follow the same dimensions and so forth. I made those up based on my own tablet and how much space I wanted. So I knew, and I actually built in the original videos. I forget how much of this is in there. I did an initial version of this, and then discovered it was too small because it just barely fit the tablet. But then I had trouble actually forcing it in there and all that kind of stuff. So I realized, okay, I need this much space around things. So it's very much an evolved version of that design. And little things like I have Velcro here and Velcro here, and I wanted to make sure on this flat area I have the soft Velcro here instead of the sticky, the rough version. Because if I have my mouse here, I'm working with that. I don't want my hand rubbing up against that nasty stuff. So little bits and things like that. A lot of these things, and see the same thing here. So I think this may have been again a thing where I did not have a way of sewing that down, because literally I cannot get the sewing machine in there. It won't go that far in to that pocket. So it may have to be hand sewn. All right, so that's gonna have to be hand sewing. So is there anything I can do with the sewing machine here? Certainly this needs to be fixed. Oops, sorry, there went the mouse. The disadvantage of having only so much space. So yeah, that's interesting. Need to fix that. Need to fix that little thing. I wouldn't mind fixing this by just, like I said, just sewing it down. So I might just sew this together. Oh, that's gonna make sewing that a little, actually might make it a little easier. I feel like I should sew this first, because when I sew this down, I want it to be flat. And if I sew this first, I might introduce a gap here, right? So if this is sewn down, but it's not exactly right, then I'll have a gap, and I won't be able to close that well as I sew it up. So I'll have to hand stitch that. Is there anything else here I can do? I don't think so. Oh, yeah, that's right. I can fix up the Velcro. So let's do that. I'm gonna pull up this, and I'm just gonna sew up a little bit. So I'm just gonna take these Velcro sections that are, again, I didn't sew all the way on. I'm just gonna sew those down. Just do an extra couple of stitches here. It's gonna be a little difficult because it'll be very difficult actually, because it's all put together. How am I gonna do this? This is actually a yeah. So the issue here is that I don't really have much flexibility here, because everything's fit together, and like this chipboard is literally, it's rigid, so I can't just move it around. So if I put that in there, I can move it part of the way. I have to do that, I think. All right. And then I gotta make sure it's lined up. I'm just gonna put this in here. And I'm gonna just sew down a few, ridges. And then I'm going to, actually, I think I'm gonna just, I can't really do that. And unfortunately, I can't go backwards on this, can I? No. Okay. I'm just gonna have to go with that. Trim that off. It's being a little annoying today in terms of positioning. So I just did it down one side, and I'm going to go down the other side of that bit of Velcro. And then go all the way through there. Okay, and then pull it out. So when my mom was teaching me, she said one of the best things you can do at the beginning and end of a stitch is to go backwards and forwards a few times, which really makes it sink in. Really makes it much better. But unfortunately, I can't go backwards on this machine because it's darn cheap. But for now, okay. So I've sewed that down. Now you can see it's there. That's much better. It's not coming up. All right, can I do that here? Yeah. Probably only need to go down the one side here. Yeah, that's fine. So, ooh, this is hard. Okay. I'll make it work. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong way. Go the right way. That's the wrong way. There we go. Okay. Make sure I'm going forward. Actually, I suppose I could go backwards and forwards manually. That's an interesting thought. Wonder if I could get it started. Oops. Ooh, that's not good. By manually turning the wheel a few times to go backwards or forwards. I have to try that. It's an interesting point. And then, yeah, you often get a few of these little threads here that you gotta come off. So yeah, that's nice and firm. Try the other ones. You should make hats for the winter at some point. Hat your beanies. It's a good idea, actually. That's up a little bit. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do again same kind of thing here. This is gonna be an interesting experiment because I've got a little thicker bit of this here. Actually, I could probably. Ooh, this needs to be sewn down, right? Because this should go all the way. So I might actually sew quite a ways down here so I can attach to that. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna. Oop, yep, this is harder to fit. I'm going to sew way down there, and I should be also sewing the zipper onto the rest of it. Okay. Oh. There we go. Just a little caught. That's another seam, and I want to check this seam now to see how well it went in, because what I know from before is that sometimes when you do this, if it's not going in well, then the stitches just are they're very loose. I don't want loose stitches here. Okay, so trimmed off these. Oh, we trim that off a bit more too. Come on. Clearly I need to get better scissors too. So now I have sewn this down so it's nice. Oh, nope, see. Yep, those are very loose stitches. Oh, part of the reason is was that? That's just pulled out those stitches. I think I was too far in the end. All right, let's try again. Let's do another run. See if we can't get that working. It's definitely a little awkward. But yeah, that did not attach, but that could have been that I just wasn't far enough over. So it could be that I just wasn't able to go down. And in other words, I think I was right on the very edge of the zipper. So I think it just wasn't really catching in the zipper. Okay. Let's see if that's any better. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, that's much firmer. Okay, good. That was just purely a matter of me not being aligned with the zipper. Had to be fun, definitely. The other problem with Velcro is you get all these little bits of like gunk stuck on the Velcro. Let me see if I can do. No, I can't do it in there because that's got too much. Yeah, I can't fit underneath there. Same thing over here. That's okay. I could definitely go in a little bit further, but I got that there. So no, that's gonna have to be as it is. Okay. This is coming up a little bit, but I've got this pocket on the other side, and if I sew into there, I'm going to be basically sewing through. Well, okay. I'm going to try it. You know what? I'm going to be crazy. Just a little crazy. I'm going to try sewing through that material. So I'm going to take this. It's here. I'm going to go here, put that under there, and it's not too thrilled with being there. It's very thick. I'm just going to sew down for a little bit. Separate that, and hopefully that will have just improved that stitch. Let's find out. Yeah, not really. It's pulling up already. It's a little better. It's better than it was before. I'm not sorry I did it, but yeah, didn't hurt anything. That's fine. All right, so this is one nice thing about having a tiny little sewing machine. It's just one hand. I can just move this right out of the way. It weighs like 3 ounces. All right, so before I do the hand stitching, so I've got 2 major things I'm remembering out of the problem. These pockets that certainly need to be fixed before things fall out, and the strap. Probably the best thing to do for the strap would be to remove it and re-sew it. Right. I also need to figure out what to do with this because that's ugly. Right. This damage here just doesn't look very good. Like I said, I could just do tape on that, and it wouldn't look terrible to have like a strip of duct tape down there or something. Duct tape looks really goofy, but I think on a black platform, just some shiny material would look. You could tell it was duct tape, but it would still fit kind of the overall aesthetic a little bit, I think. And that would sort of help with a lot of these problems. And you are seeing some of the stitching. Maybe you can see this. Some of the stitching is coming out. And it's my first bag. I'm not surprised by that. I also need to re-stitch that bit of it. So let me try this. You know what? This is coming out. I know it's coming out. Where is it? There's where it's coming out. So here's where it's coming out. I'm going to try to re-stitch this. Just run this down here and see if I can do it on this tiny sewing machine. I don't think I will because there's just... I think it physically cannot fit underneath I have that much space there to fit material under, and I think there's just physically not enough space. Let's find out. Also, there's a question of how to actually arrange this to make that happen because there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, that's the best I can do on that side. So I'm gonna which is underneath there. Yeah, I'm squeezing. It's not wanting to squeeze. I've got that too, so I'm going to have to do it some other way. I can't sew it from there because that's there. So I'm going to have to go around here. Oh, no, I can't do that either. I can't fit all that underneath. Well, I suppose I could fold all this and then run that all the way underneath there to get down there. I'm going to have to do that. Okay. So I have to fold all this in, fold basically one entire third of the bag so that I can push that through the right side of the sewing machine so that hopefully I can shove all of that basically through the sewing machine. Yep, it's working. So I can get that down to that end so I can go at it from that angle. Alright, that's going to have to be it. It's really funky, but that's how we're going to have to do that. Alright. So I've got this back there. Alright. I'm just gonna try to make sure this is realigned properly. It's hard to tell how it should be. And I know you basically can't see this. I apologize for that. But let me try to get that there. I made this bag with a larger sewing machine. It's down there actually, but that sewing machine doesn't work right now, which is a bit of a problem. I can't get it to, it works in the sense that the motor runs, but thread just immediately pulls right out of it. It doesn't actually sew. And I tried adjusting tensions and so forth, and I just can't figure it out. All right. Hold on to your butts. That is not happy. And by not happy, what I mean is that it doesn't seem... Oh, that's because I didn't put it down at all. Ah, that's funny. I didn't put the needle down. Or the presser foot down. It was just... But I didn't need to because this is so thick. It was all the way... Okay. How did that work? It worked. It sewed all the way down. So now the question is, can I sew? Okay, yeah, I can do that. So I sewed down here. Now I'm going to sew along the bottom. Trimming off before I forget. I want to make sure I've sewed across the bottom of that strap, because that'll give it some extra oomph, some extra carrying power. Then I'll figure out what to do with the splitting material. Okay. And then put it down. That's actually okay. Now let me see. I have to do that to... Oh, okay, that's moving forward. Then I'm going to reverse. And then go forward a few times. My mom said that should sort of make it a much stronger stitch. One can only hope. All right. Strap out from there. Do that. There goes the mouse again. Falling right off there. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty firm. So I don't have a good solution for the splitting of the rest of it, and that is starting to come through in rather worrying ways. Well, let me try. So I'm going to do the goofy thing. 1 second. All right, this is duct tape. So like I said, what I'm hoping is I can lay down a line of duct tape. In fact, that's interesting. I only sewed, is that true? Okay, I gotta need to fix something. So originally, and this might actually be part of the problem, originally I only sewed down both sides of the strap. As you can see from here, I only sewed down both sides of the strap, not on the end. And that probably would add a lot of structural stability. So I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna sew down this part of the bag. I'm still gonna do the thing. I'm still gonna add the duct tape. But that should improve things dramatically. So if I, first off, okay, no. Whoa, shoot, okay, nope. Let's actually set it in, let's actually put the thing down so it'll actually stay where it's supposed to go. Okay. So I need to do that a couple of times. No, it doesn't want to. Okay. We're just going to go down. Still not hugely happy. So now I'm reversing a few times and then going forward to do a few extra stitches kind of over top of each other to hopefully catch that. And then cut those threads. Okay. Yeah, the machine was really working there. Okay, so I think that's going to definitely improve the structural quality of the bag by having those two ends sewn down. I'm still going to try doing the duct tape thing. So I'm just going to lay down some duct tape to make this as flat as possible and trim off any final bits of thread that we're pushing up here. And I'm hoping I can make this look, not terrible. I'll trim off some of these edges. Duct tape actually doesn't stick too well to things other than itself. Fold that over. So this may be a very temporary solution, but it doesn't look terrible. There we go. And then I think I'm going to do the same thing here with this, now that it's splitting. I feel like if I tape this down, it will hopefully keep that from splitting too much, but it'll probably just split in other spots. I could run it all the way down here, although I know it's not going to stick to this. I think I'm going to just lay down some duct tape. In these little spots. Basically, I'm going to cover these ends with duct tape, and we'll see what effect that has on sort of longevity. I'm hoping this will basically this will help, not necessarily fix, but that things will be better as a result of this. You know, that I'll have less. Ooh, quite a bit of thread there. So yeah, I'm hoping that it won't degenerate as quickly, because undoubtedly, with more effort, with more use of the material in the bag, that is, this is going to fall apart. And again, it's my first bag. That's expected. But this will hopefully hold it down a little bit more. Okay, that's not terrible. All right. So that's that. The next stage is, like I said, the really important stuff. So good news is I've got a solution for this, or more precisely, I've got I made changes to this that improve it. These bits of Velcro are now on more stably, at least especially on the edges. And the big other thing about the edges is that if the ends of the Velcro are pulling up, then as I am, doing this and doing this with the Velcro, if the edges and those ends are pulling out, then there's a good chance I'm going to rip out the entire thing because I'm putting stress on those ends. So I wanted those ends to be nice and reasonably tight in. So the other thing is these zippers. I've got to fix these zippers. And like I said, I think this is just going to be literally just needle and thread. So let me just spend a little bit of time. Again, I'm not going to spend hours here, but I'm going to see if I can spend a few minutes. I've got several rolls of black thread. And I know I've got some needles in here. Got a whole bunch of needles of various sizes. And so I'm just going to take a needle. This is a relatively thin needle. And I'm going to grab some of this thread. Actually, let's see here. I have no idea. Coats & Clark polyester. All-purpose dual duty plus. Coats. This is mercerized cotton polyester. So I'm going to try the nicer stuff. I'm just going to pull off, I don't know if you can see that, a bunch of thread. Basically arm's length. I don't know how much I need. I'm just going to start there. I'm going to take that, wet the end, take my needle, thread the needle, if I can. Don't even know how possible this is. I mean, it should go in, right? Like, that's the whole point of having a needle. So you can put thread in it, but it's not wanting to go in. Let's try from the other side. May have just flipped it 180 degrees. 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Can this go in? Can this go in? Does not want to go in. Perhaps I will need a bigger needle. It is refusing to go in, despite my best efforts. All right. I have bigger needles. I'm going to try for not the biggest needle, just a bigger needle. Hopefully. Oh, that's still a pretty small needle. All right, let's try that one. That one seems larger, although perhaps that's just my imagination. Nope, just my imagination. Oh wait, did that go through? Nope. That classic problem, I'm kind of going on either side of it, not actually into the... Oh, wait. May have done it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so the needle's now in the middle of the thread, basically. Then we're going to take that And we're going to try the thing where you take the other end, actually going to match those, and then you loop them around. You tie this here, and you basically make a knot. One of these days I'll learn more about knots. Actually watching a Modern Rogue YouTube video. Cool channel. And they have a video on several knots that everyone should know how to use. And I might go back to that one of these days and just really practice those and nail those down. So I'm just tying this knot into here such that there's still a loop in the thread. So you see this here, where now there's a little loop at the end. So now when I get that into the material, it's going to stop there. All right, then we match those up. And now I'm going to try to sew down this. So you can see, hopefully, right here, the spot where this stitch, let me see if I can get a little closer. So you see how you have this double row of stitches that are basically, one row is for the edge of the bag. The other was sewing the zipper in, and you see how it stops right there. And there's nothing beyond that. So there's this double row here, and it stops, and we have just a single row after that. So what I'm going to do now is continue that stitch basically by going here and punching through. I said punching through. Wow, okay. There we go. And then just continuing. I started from the inside so that that little loop will be on the inside, not the outside, because that would look kind of bad, right? Having that loop on the outside of the bag. And now I'm just trying to continue that stitch fairly evenly, meaning each stitch is evenly spaced, going the same distance out and aligned with the previous one, so the stitches aren't, wandering all over the place. Don't know how well I will accomplish that, but that is the goal. And trying to get it fairly taut. I do punch it in there. There we go. So you can see why I kind of wanted to use the ooh, and actually, yeah, see, I'm right on the edge of the, you probably can't see that because it's black thread. I'm right on the edge of the zipper, so I'm going to need to angle this in. I'm going to need to basically move it further inwards so that I'm catching more, oops, of the actual zipper material. Otherwise, I'll just be sewing in and out of the bag and not actually attaching the zipper to the bag. That would be bad. Now, the closer you make the stitches, obviously, whoops, the firmer it will be. The better. So, oops, I'm going backwards. What did I do? Did I just loop it? I just looped it. What did I just do? Yeah, I think I just looped it. The question is, can I reverse that? Can I pull that back through? Something you generally don't want to do because you can make a big hole with the other side of the needle. Did I actually loop that? Or am I just not thinking? Yeah, I looped it. Okay. So I'm hoping I can get this really taut and force the needle back through that that hole without having to tie it off here. These needles really aren't meant to do this. Oh, nope. Oh, yep. Nope. Just punch through it. I may be screwed. Where does this go? Okay. I was not paying attention. Now, with luck, like I said, I can punch this back through that same hole. And it has to be the exact same spot. Otherwise, you're just looping it all over again. Just doesn't want to go up in there. Ow. Hurt my finger, though. No blood, so it's okay. Yeah. Dang it. Okay. So at this point, there's not much I can do except, yeah, just cut it off. Dang it. That's that. That's there, so I can cut it off there. Okay. Pull that through. All right. We continue from where we were before. Again, not thrilling, but important. So we're going to tie this knot. Just get a loop going there. And then tie another knot. There's a half knot basically, but then continue that such that it tightens that, and then we're good to go. If you're really good at this, you'll have really tiny knots, really tiny loops, that is, but I'm not that good. Not yet, at least. All right, so we're gonna go back up in here. We're gonna push it in from this end. Oh, I'm actually right on that stitch line. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then I will continue from there. Yeah, that loop's going to be a doozy. Oh well. So that's there, and this is going to go. Oh, that's why that's a problem. I can't really tell where the next stitch is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to go out a little bit from there. I'm going to stick that in. A little further. A little further. Okay. You want to go there? We'll go there. And of course, the problem with stitching this so close to that zipper is how hard it is to work with that zipper right there. Just fundamentally, it gets in the way. All right, I'm going to move this around a bit so I can get to things more easily. Where am I? I'm right there. Okay, so I will punch back out around here. That's much better, actually. Looking to see where I am. Imagine that. I'm going to try to make these stitches fairly close to each other. And I'm wondering if I can, I mentioned before, if I can just kind of sew over this last bit to finish off that pocket. Where am I coming out from? Oh, interesting. Why didn't that? Huh. Like it came out through the other. Weird. All right, let me do a few more stitches there. I may be reaching a point where okay, yeah. I need to be very, very careful about where my stitch is going and where the actual zipper is, because it's a little tricky to see and to tell where everything is and where it's going. All right. I'll do another stitch through there. Yeah, one final stitch through to the back. And then how do you finish off this stitch? Oops, having a bit of an issue there with, okay. I clearly made some kind of mistake. I've got a loop that doesn't want to come back through. Why is, There we are. Just got caught up it. Okay. Just got caught up on it on itself. So now basically I need to finish off this stitch by running this through some spots. So I'm basically going to run the needle underneath some of this and then back out the other side. Just through that, ideally. Oops, it's not quite enough. So I'm trying to catch on some of this under fabric so I can run a few stitches down here on the inside, and that should hold it in place. You know, any stresses will basically pull on these stitches here, which are out of the way, and shouldn't be visible outside of that. And then even better, if I can run this through here. And then clip off the thread right there, and it effectively disappears. It's all underneath that spot. Now, I still have an issue with these, the loops that I used initially. Now, I'm going to just try, again, this may not work very well. I'm just going to cut those loops. Hopefully, the stitching is firm enough that it doesn't need those loops to stay in place. All right, and now we bring the sewing machine back in. I will get the needle and thread out of the way. And like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and just sew down the very end of this so it's laying flat and it's just kind of, finished off. So I'm just going to put that in here. Okay, hold on. I kind of wish I could. Okay, let's try that. I'm kind of tucking things under so that hopefully they will stay in place. And then finish that off with a few extra turns backwards. And a few extra turns forward. Pull that out. And I'm hoping that those stitches will be enough. Man. To really close off that pocket. Let's find out. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Good. So with this pocket open, yeah, that's nice and firm. Nothing's going to come out of that. Cool. I have a few more threads in here I want to trim off. And this is all experimentation. There's another loop in there. I'm going to trim that off. And the thing about these loops is that, they will catch on things and give me problems. So if nothing else, I kind of want to trim them off, and then if things fall apart, then I know to fix them, as opposed to having these problems flailing around. This is okay. It doesn't look great, but it's not like actively an opening. Same thing here. I literally cannot sew any further on that on the machine. So this could use a little bit of extra hand stitching, but it's not a functional problem. And then we have, as I mentioned before, Same thing here. So this, I think I can just, like I said, I can just fold this down, and I'm going to finish off this seam to sort of close off that pocket. And that should do it, actually. That's up. Can I fit this underneath? Yeah, I can. Good. So we're just going to finish off that seam. Hopefully it's not going to mess up anything. And I'm going to try to match it up to the existing. Whoa! That was fun. Whoa! There we are. It didn't want to move very much, so I'm afraid the stitching might not be great. But we'll find out. Oh, that's because I didn't lower down the thing. Hey. Gosh, it's annoying. I forgot to lower the thing. But it sewed. Went very well. Did it, actually? Yeah, it did. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got. There. Yeah, it tucked under a little bit right there, but this is now a full pocket. I'm happy with that. There's still, yeah. So you can see how this is pulling away a little bit here. So there's a gap right in here, just enough for like a finger to go in. So the thing about that is this pocket actually contains only large things. It contains like the battery pack, the AC power adapter, things along those lines, stuff that's not going to fall out of that. So I will probably go ahead and spend, 15 minutes at some point sewing that up just with another hand stitch. But I don't need to do that on camera. You get the idea there. Another bit of thing. In fact, let's see here. Are we having the same thing? No, that's okay. Just a little. Okay, that's fine. So like I said, I could, that is worth fixing, but not something I need to fix right now. I actually have another thing down here I'm seeing. So this is just some extra fabric on the end of the zipper, which doesn't look that great. So what I could do is just sew this down, so it's kind of finished off. I could also trim that a little bit so it fits better. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to trim off a little bit of that fabric, and then I'm just going to take the pocket and tuck that under the same way it is everywhere else. And then, yeah, I'm just going to sew that down to finish off that side. There's a little finishing stuff that I didn't know the first time I was making this. Didn't know to do, if you will. And if I can, yeah, I'll separate that out. It's going to be just the pocket I'm sewing down. Ooh, I'm going to fold that over. A lot of little folds here. That's a little tricky, especially because you want to keep them kind of folded over as you move things around. All right. Close that down. Backwards and forwards a few times. It would help if I remembered which way was forward and which way was backwards. But pull that back out. And I do believe that will. Oh, that didn't work. It did not. Okay, it didn't catch on. All right, that's not a problem. So basically, it did not catch on the so it did successfully come down here and sew out down this edge, but it didn't actually, there wasn't enough material for it to sew in the the zipper. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to tuck that under and then sew the other way around. So basically put that in here and go in here. Once the things are all worked out, I'm going to go here and go the other way. And hopefully that will finish that out. I don't know if I can. That's problematic. There's not. Yeah, it's going to be very. See how far I can get. Wait a minute. Wait. Need to really tuck that in there. It needs to be all the way in. Yeah, this fabric is a little not wanting to cooperate just because of all the different things I'm folding down around and underneath things, but here's hoping. Nope. Backwards. Not forwards, because forwards can't do much. And now forwards here. Yeah, it's as far as it can go because of the just where everything is. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Whoops! Snap the thread. Okay, but that's okay because I think we're basically there with that. It didn't go in very well, so that was not the best thing. I wanted to have this. All the way inside this pocket. Instead, it's sticking out a little bit, but it is fairly in there. Certainly better than it was before. So again, not massively horrified by that. I think it's, all things considered, it's a poor job, but it's a job. Right? Like it'll work for what it is. We'll trim off these threads. But I'm not at all displeased in general with what we've done tonight. The bag is back in business, and ain't it grand? Everything has been, finished out. All of the errors I noticed have now been addressed. So I can now use this without fear of it, ripping in pieces. Things aren't going to fall out anymore. I've trimmed off little bits of, thread that was hanging out, and so now I feel this is back to where I can use it on a daily basis and see where it goes from here. Right? It's like this is now the upgraded version of the bag, at least. Well, maybe not upgraded, but repaired version of the bag. So we took something that was kind of falling apart and repaired it and made it now much more usable. That's a good feeling. So that will be it for us for tonight. Whoops. That'll be it for us for tonight. Thank you all for watching. And as always, until next time, make something.